Oh, howdy, fucks. I can dial it back a notch. Hello, Goth Gamer Nation. It's just me. I started out too strong and now I have no energy left. I feel like in light of my most recent content, this might seem like a departure from my niche, from the box you foolishly put me in, because you don't think I'm gamer enough. But I can do shooting games. I can do stuff like Sergeant Chief and Dr. Extra Guy. More so than that, one of my favorite games is 2005's Fear by Monolith, back when they made games and not really hardcore Totino's packaging. The weird thing about Fear is that I've never found a first-person shooter that felt as good. There is a fluidity and satisfaction to it that not even its canon sequels could recapture, stripping its uniqueness, its quirks a little bit more as they went, until it was left with this hollow, confused shell of a franchise, grasping at the most boring threads of the original and things other games were doing in hopes of divining a sense of direction. I stumbled onto the demo for Trepang2 while actively looking for something, anything, even close to that, and I'll say up front, it is certainly close to that. So from what I can gather, Trepang is just a placeholder title, and it's the second game this 4-person dev team has worked on, hence Trepang2. This demo is a sort of bare-bones prologue that shows off a very slick modernization of the gun-fu combat that Fear did really well. It goes without saying there is a roughness to pretty much every aspect, but it's a very promising start. Weapon physics and the sort of minutia of gun design and handling is great. There are rightfully no iron sights, as I think that would sort of clutter the screen and make things feel less like a hyper-realistic action movie, but it already does that really well.
Gameplay-wise seems really good.
In slow motion, you can really soak in all the puffs of smoke and blood, sparks and exploding plaster and brick, and while you're in slow motion, there is this interesting filter put on your vision, like everything becomes sharper, almost digital, I think to simulate like an enhanced focus. It's a nice touch. The enemies don't feel quite as intimidating until you're considerably outnumbered, but they do show a lot of intelligence and character even.
Not anymore.
I don't think I can make it much further without mentioning the mechanic that has sold me on this game already. You get the most powerful and satisfying slide I've ever experienced in a game. The logistics of it are incomprehensible, like it makes no sense why this action is possible, or why you're capable of inflicting so much carnage with it.
I feel like this game needs an iron sight.
Hell yeah. So incredible.
But it's why I'm going to get this game when it comes out. Part of me is really terrified that they're going to nerf this before an official release because it really is responsible for a good 85% of my enjoyment.
You can just shoot, like, whew! You don't even need to gain momentum.
So please leave that exactly how it is. I can't tell you how much fun I had just sliding into military goons and fucking blasting them into the Shadow Realm. Half of the footage I recorded is just me giggling like a psycho while I slide through piles of viscera.
God, this is amazing. This alone is a purchase. Hell yeah. Good decoration here.
This is already a very competent, impressive spiritual successor, and I sincerely hope I get to see it completed. Honestly, the thing holding me back from being officially on board, well, I am on board, but like just from the shooty bang bang standpoint, is that it's noticeably under construction and will likely go through a lot of conceptual changes. At least I hope so.
I got stuck in the wall.
The plot is kinda wafer thin, and mostly relegated to documents you find, and have to stop and pull out a magnifying glass for. A bit too much of it feels like placeholders. The environments, especially. One thing that I actually really enjoyed about Fear was that it takes place mostly in these boring corporate bullpens and hallways full of identical offices. It created this fun dissonance when you tear it to shreds in wild shootouts. I get the sense they were going for something similar here, but it's not so much that it feels sparse or boring, so much as it feels empty and not lived in.
Pick up the fire extinguisher.
Whoa!
Ooh. Wow.
That did stuff.
That's a hazard.
Ooh, that's a good
Poor
laptop.
laptop. God damn it, I was about to win. I was about to win Minesweeper, dude.
Are you losing, son?
And the layout of the building doesn't make a whole lot of sense for an actual office building. The way the plot is doled out also doesn't help, because you have to stop doing badass shit to read to yourself in complete silence. And it's an email someone printed out, which is really silly. The way Fear did it through voicemails and computers was silly too, but it was effective and made its setting feel believable. Plot-wise, I don't really know what's going on here. I'm like a sick-ass rad dude who has been captured by a bunch of mercenary types who are less rad because I turned most of them into ragdolls full of jelly, and then I gotta bust out and slide my way onto a helicopter. There's a moment that I think was an attempt at one of Fear's horror hallucinations, but I don't have context or any hint as to how that's actually going to pan out. Even though it didn't really land and it just happens the one time, I was relieved to see it there, because the last thing I want this to be is an empty shooter. I hope they do something neat with it. And there are little programming tricks and spooky things that are exciting.
Oh my god! You!
Yo,
Holy shit,
yo,
this is
this game's great. What the fuck? What the fuck?
So seeing that, I was thinking, oh, okay, so you guys do have ideas past shooting guys. That's all I care about. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's got to be something. Like 1 or 2 things. I'm more than willing to play a game that is mostly shooting dudes, but if I know or care about who I'm shooting and why, and if I could maybe get a tidbit about who I am, what's my sign, how do I feel about Cool Ranch Doritos, then I'd probably get so excited I would go pee-pee in my pants. I'm kind of guarding my heart as far as the plot and the world you got going on here. I don't want to get overly excited because I was so enamored by the gameplay.
This game's called Minesweeper. It's pretty good.
Where's he going?
What the fuck? This is some wacky shit.
What was that?
Which is just so fucking sick that it's rad, so tight it's cool, so dope it's hell yeah, dude. I know this is like a small team and likely to be a small game, but you got so much of Fear right already that I don't want it to fall into the same things they got wrong. You know what, forget I said anything, just keep the slide mechanic and do whatever the fuck you want with the game. Put dinosaurs into it and I'll gladly just power slide into a volcano. I'll play the game first, obviously.